Welcome everyone to Module 8, Solution Evaluation. Now that we've mastered how to analyze and design requirements in previous modules, we're stepping into the next big phase, understanding how well our solutions actually perform once they're implemented. Think of it like building a house. After construction, you don't just move in and forget about it. You check if the lights work, the plumbing runs smoothly, and the heating performs well. We follow the UN. That's what solution evaluation is all about, making sure the solutions we deliver truly work, continue to add value, and evolve with the organization's needs. So, throughout this module, we'll explore how to measure performance, identify gaps, analyze causes, and recommend improvements. In other words, we'll learn how to make good solutions even better. As you can see on this slide, our goal is to assess performance and identify opportunities for enhancement, always driving toward continuous improvement. As you can see on this slide, let's begin by understanding what we mean by solution evaluation. In simple terms, this knowledge area is about assessing how well a solution performs against what it was meant to achieve. It's about comparing reality with intention. The main objective here is to support continuous improvement, to ensure that the solution continues to deliver business value long after it's implemented. Let's take an example. Imagine your company launches a new mobile banking app. The app works. Users can log in, transfer money, and pay bills. But 6 months later, feedback shows login times are slow, and customers are dropping off during peak hours. Solution evaluation helps identify these issues, analyze why they happen, and recommend actions to fix or enhance performance. Now, why does this matter so much? Because effective evaluation allows us to validate that we're achieving the business benefits promised, identify performance gaps, discover optimization opportunities, make informed investment decisions, and demonstrate return on investment to stakeholders. Down at the bottom of this slide, you can see the 5 stages of evaluation. We evaluate, analyze, assess, recommend, and finally improve. These steps together form a continuous loop of performance and progress, the heartbeat of any modern, agile organization. As you can see on this slide, by the end of this module, you'll be able to apply the BABOK 5-3 solution evaluation techniques with real confidence. Let's walk through each objective. First, you'll learn how to evaluate performance, meaning you'll know exactly how to measure whether your solution is truly working using meaningful metrics. Second, you'll learn how to analyze measures, to interpret data, identify patterns, and pinpoint what's driving performance, both good and bad. Third, we'll talk about how to assess limitations, both within the solution itself and at the enterprise level. Because sometimes, the problem isn't the system, it's the people, the process, or the culture surrounding it. Next, you'll be able to recommend actions, practical, evidence-based improvements that enhance solution value. And finally, you'll apply techniques like benchmarking, risk analysis, root cause analysis, surveys, and KPIs. These techniques are not just academic, they're what real business analysts use every day to assess and strengthen solutions. So by the end of this module, you'll not only understand the theory, you'll know how to put it into action in the real world. As you can see here, BABOK RET defines 5 key tasks that form the backbone of solution evaluation. Let's look at them one by one. Task 1. Measure solution performance. Here we collect real-world data, actual KPIs, SLAs, and user feedback to see how the solution performs. Task 2. Analyze performance measures. Once we have the data, we interpret it. We look for trends, patterns, or anomalies to understand what's really happening. Task 3. Assess solution limitations. Now, we examine what's limiting performance within the solution itself: bugs, missing features, poor design decisions, or workflow issues. Task 4. Assess enterprise limitations. This goes beyond the solution. Sometimes, it's the organization. Maybe people aren't trained well enough, or internal processes are out of sync. Task 5. Recommend actions to increase solution value. Finally, we propose targeted, practical improvements that fix the problems and enhance value delivery. Together, these 5 tasks form a cycle: measure, analyze, assess, improve, and repeat. It's how great organizations continuously get better. As you can see on this slide, the very first task is to measure performance, to find out how well the solution is really working. Now, think of this like a health checkup for your project. You're not guessing how healthy it is, you're taking readings, collecting numbers, and comparing them against goals. So, what exactly do we measure? We start with key performance indicators, or KPIs, the metrics that matter most to the business. For example, if you built an e-commerce platform, KPIs could include conversion rate, cart abandonment rate, or average delivery time. Next, we measure service level performance, uptime, system availability, and responsiveness. Then comes customer satisfaction, because even the best performing systems fail if users hate using them. We also look at financial results, things like cost savings, ROI, and revenue uplift. And finally, we measure quality indicators, like defect rates or error frequency. Now, once all this data is collected, we compile it into 2 key outputs: a performance metrics report, which includes raw data, and a performance summary, which highlights insights for stakeholders. The techniques we use here are the building blocks of professional evaluation: benchmarking, comparing results to industry standards; surveys, capturing human feedback; observation, seeing how the system behaves in real life; and KPI, tracking. Let's bring this to life with an example. Suppose a hospital introduces an online appointment booking system. After launch, data shows appointment booking times have dropped from 10 minutes to 2. Great. But user surveys reveal that older patients find the interface confusing. That tells us the system's technically successful, but not universally usable. So, this task isn't just about collecting data, it's about uncovering the story behind the numbers. Because without measurement, improvement is just guesswork. As you can see on this slide, once we've gathered performance data, the next step is to analyze it. Think of this as turning raw data into meaningful insight. We start by comparing results. We look at actual performance versus expected outcomes or baseline targets. This tells us whether we're on track or falling short. Then, we identify trends, patterns that reveal whether performance is improving, declining, or stagnating. Finally, we determine root causes, understanding why the gaps exist. Are they caused by technical flaws, user adoption issues, or process bottlenecks? The outputs here include performance analysis results, gap identification, and trend reports. Babok recommends techniques like trend analysis, root cause analysis, and statistical review to help quantify and interpret findings. Here's a real example. Imagine a food delivery app. After launch, delivery times improve overall, but the data shows that orders spike at lunch hours and performance drops. The analysis reveals the reason: too many concurrent orders and not enough couriers during peak times. So, instead of just reacting, we found the root cause, and that's the power of analysis. As you can see on the slide, the third task looks at the solution itself, identifying the internal issues that hold it back from reaching full potential. These can be design or functionality flaws, missing capabilities, or confusing interfaces; data inaccuracies or system defects, bad integrations, inconsistent data, or errors; process inefficiencies, redundant steps, core automation, or manual workarounds; performance or scalability issues. The system simply can't handle high loads. The outputs here include a solution limitation report, a root cause summary, and a prioritized list of fixes. We often use root cause analysis, fishbone diagrams, and risk analysis to identify where problems originate. For example, a CRM platform may have great features but slows down when exporting reports. That's a solution limitation. Fixing that improves performance without changing business processes. This step is about technical truth, finding the cracks before they widen. As you can see here, not every performance issue comes from the system itself. Sometimes the organization creates the barriers. This task focuses on identifying those enterprise-level limitations. Things like lack of training, poor change management, or misaligned policies. Let's break it down. People limitations. Employees resist using new tools or don't have enough training. Process limitations. Old workflows are still being followed even after automation. Technology limitations. Legacy systems, integration issues, or infrastructure gaps. Organizational limitations. Budget constraints, cultural resistance, or conflicting priorities. The outputs are enterprise limitation, assessments, and organizational risk reports. We use techniques like SWOT analysis, stakeholder analysis, and surveys to identify these external blockers. A good example: a new ERP system works flawlessly, but department heads refuse to share data between teams. That's not a technical issue, it's an enterprise one. And unless we address those, even the best systems will underperform. As you can see on this slide, our final task is where analysis becomes action. This is where you, as a business analyst, become a true change catalyst. Here, we recommend improvements, not just fixes, but strategies that enhance the value of the entire solution. We start by identifying opportunities from earlier assessments. Then, we evaluate options, weighing costs, benefits, and risks. We develop recommendations that are practical, measurable, and aligned with business priorities. And finally, we obtain stakeholder approval to move forward. These recommendations may be corrective, to fix existing problems; preventive, to avoid future ones; enhancement-based, to add new features; or optimization-focused, to improve efficiency. Key outputs include recommendation reports, improvement plans, and change proposals. And we use techniques like benchmarking, cost-benefit analysis, and decision modeling to support them. Let's use a quick example. A bank's online loan portal works, but users find the interface slow and unintuitive. Your recommendation might include redesigning the UI, optimizing back-end processes, and running usability tests. This step turns insight into action, because information without improvement doesn't drive progress. As you can see on this slide, Babok emphasizes several core techniques that power solution evaluation. Let's explore them briefly. Benchmarking, comparing performance against competitors or industry bests to see how you stack up. Root cause analysis, going beyond symptoms to find what's really causing problems. Risk analysis, identifying potential threats and creating plans to mitigate them. Surveys, gathering human feedback to balance the numbers with real experiences. Key performance indicators, KPIs, defining measurable goals that reflect success. Together, these techniques give analysts a complete toolkit, combining quantitative data with qualitative understanding to evaluate solutions holistically. As you can see on this slide, here's a real example to bring it all together. A logistics company introduces a new fleet management system. After 6 months, they evaluate its performance. Measure performance. They track delivery times, fuel costs, and maintenance expenses. Delivery time improved by 12%, but fuel costs unexpectedly rose by 8%. Deliveries are faster, but fuel efficiency has dropped, so they dig deeper. Assess solution limitations. Testing reveals that GPS route calculations lied during peak hours. Inefficient paths increase fuel use. Assess enterprise limitations. Surveys show that 40% of drivers didn't receive proper training and are still following old routes manually. Recommend actions. They propose optimizing the GPS software, conducting driver training, and phasing in better change management programs. The result? Within 3 months, fuel costs drop, routes become smoother, and overall customer satisfaction increases. That's the magic of structured solution evaluation, turning findings into measurable improvement. As you can see here, these are the best practices that experienced analysts swear by. Under strategic approach, always align performance measures with business objectives. Balance quantitative metrics like KPIs with qualitative insights like surveys. Establish baselines early. You can't measure improvement without knowing where you started. And remember, continuous improvement is not a phase, it's a culture. Under execution excellence, engage stakeholders early, document everything clearly, justify recommendations with ROI, and prioritize actions that deliver the highest impact. Finally, avoid these common pitfalls: measuring too late, ignoring soft factors like human behavior, and overanalyzing without taking action, what we call analysis paralysis. Good analysts measure, think, and act, in that order. As you can see on this final slide, let's wrap up with the big picture. Solution evaluation ensures that solutions deliver the value they promised and continue improving over time. It's built around 5 interconnected tasks: measure, analyze, assess solution limitations, assess enterprise limitations, and recommend actions. We make evidence-based decisions, supported by real data and feedback. We take a holistic approach, considering both system and organizational factors. We foster continuous improvement, not a one-time review, but an ongoing learning process. And we apply key techniques: benchmarking, root cause, risk analysis, surveys, and KPIs to make our evaluations credible and actionable. Remember, as business analysts, our goal isn't just to deliver solutions, it's to ensure those solutions keep delivering. That's the essence of solution evaluation, the bridge between implementation and sustained success.